Welcome to bringing Jesus back into focus. He became very blurry under Emperor Constantine when the corrupt church leader said, yeah, Christians can join the army and go and kill other children. In other words, they converted Christians back into being Jewish Christians, a hybrid. So they're hybrid Christians. I belong to the original group of followers of Jesus, the pacifist Christians. I've always seen him as love and non-violence my whole life since I was a little child. I didn't realise how important that was and how blessed I was. I was just never interested in the Jewish religion. I wondered why they were reading that out. I was born into the Jewish Christian Catholic Church, and whenever they read the Old Testament, I thought, why are they reading that? We're not Jews. We don't need that. And they never, thank heavens, the Catholic Church never do a sermon on the stinking, filthy, slanderous book, the book of Revelation, the most filthy slander about Jesus that I've ever seen written in the world. Thankfully, the Catholic Church never give a sermon on it. They don't rip it out, which they should. Pope Leo should get out and say, all Catholics rip this out and burn it. This is a disgusting, filthy, slanderous book about the loving Creator and Jesus. But they don't. Anyway, I had to look at it, of course, and I thought, well, that's rubbish. And that's not Jesus. So once you know Jesus is love and non-violence, as I've always done since I was a little child, and that's the beautiful thing, you see, when that image of Jesus comes in of love and non-violence and you're just an innocent child, and providing it stays with you, which it did with me, I never lost it. I never lost what I call the golden thread of divine love. I've been sick and ill and, I partied on it for a few years back in my 20s and things, but never lost that thread of golden love and non-violence, the core of Jesus' spiritual message to all of us on earth if you want to get to the heavenly spiritual dimension. It's another dimension. It's just called the heavenly spiritual world, or nirvana. Buddha called it nirvana. But you have to get there through having a mind that's cleaned out of all the dirty things. Buddha said you must clean out the adventitious things in your mind to have a clear light mind experience of your true nature. Jesus said you must clean out the inside of the cup. That's where all the dirt is, inside your mind. Got to clean it out, he said. And then, you know what he said? Your whole body will be filled with light. The clear light mind experience of Jesus and Buddha was the same. Anyway, I travelled around the last 5 years because my family duties finished, my responsibilities. My mother passed on, age 101. I cared for her for 18 years until she passed on. And my sister Joan, who was in a wheelchair for 73 years of her life, she passed on about 3 years ago with cancer. Both extraordinarily beautiful spiritual children. And my mother in particular had what I call beautiful, intelligent faith. She was easily the most intelligent follower of Jesus I've ever met. The most beautiful and intelligent. You can't have beautiful follower and speak a lot of gobbledygook. Jesus is coming on the clouds to kill and murder. That's gobbledygook Jewish stuff. Forget that. You must have beautiful understanding of Jesus' love, but his teachings must be intelligent and logical and line up with love and non-violence, which of course, because I only knew him as non-violence, love and non-violence, I could do it. I didn't realise how serious this problem was until I investigated the last 5 years different churches when I had time on my hands to do so. I was shocked. Many of the Christian churches I went to were just synagogues. All they talked about was the Jewish religion. All they studied was the Jewish religion, the two different Yahwehs there, the Yahweh, the war god, the Yahweh, the god of love. It's a dualistic religion. It's not monotheistic. And they talked about Jesus coming on the clouds and they're the only ones going to be saved. I just thought, why, jingo, what are you people doing? So I translated the Gospels into a much better, clearer and cleaner understanding of the message of Jesus, of love and non-violence to get to heaven. And I'm reading it now online for anyone to look at. I think you'll find it a little bit more interesting. And also you won't find any poison stuff there. Let's read the back of the book. Jesus taught we can all experience an inner spiritual awakening if we search for it. He called this the treasure hidden in the field of earth or flesh. This is our eternal spiritual identity, empowered only by the loving spiritual life force of our loving spiritual Creator. Our bodies of flesh are only temporary and empowered by earthly things, and all flesh dies. Only our spiritual body and soul mind of love lives on to come into the presence of our loving Creator to reap as we have sown. His teachings and spiritual way of love and non-violence can help awaken us all into a new spiritual life here on earth, leading us to the heavenly spiritual world of love after death. Jesus taught we all have two different bodies with us in one. And he said that the spiritual body, being eternal, is the most important to be healthy and well in spirit. Don't join the warmongering armies, whatever you do. They're on the way to hell. They're stinking, covered in dark filth. Keep your spiritual body clean. Have nothing to do with those warmongers or the armaments industry. Steer clear of them. Don't support them in any way. He provides us with the spiritual instructions to follow and become at one with, to be awakened and transformed into spiritual children of light of our loving spiritual Creator in heaven. We then help awaken other children to become spiritual and bring peace and heavenly love to earth for all in need. These translations of the Gospels of Jesus remove the Jewish overlays and distortions placed over the universal teachings of Jesus and spiritual way of non-violence and love. Our mortal minds change from being dualistic into singular minds, viewing all things through the eye of love. Jesus said, if your eye is single, you will be filled with light, but if dualistic and divided, you will be filled with darkness. Jesus said not to mix his new spiritual way of understanding our loving Creator with the Old Testament dualistic God of the Jews, or you will lose the understanding of the one true loving spiritual Creator of our spiritual lives, and not realize who you really are as the spiritual children of only love on earth. These Gospels help focus his message of the loving way to reach the heavenly spiritual world from earth after death. So we'll carry on now with chapter 2, His Words Save Us. I've collected the first 5 chapters of the book. They have specific topics, and then we go into the general Gospels of Matthew and Mark and Luke and John. Chapter 2, His Words Save Us. This is so important. I've been to some of the Jewish Christian churches, and they hardly looked at his words, and they told me if I didn't believe his blood saves me on the cross from the cross, I won't go to heaven. It's his blood that saves me. I said, well, he didn't actually say that except in Matthew. Matthew mentions it once, I think, at the Last Supper. That's it. That's a Jewish sacrificial lamb overlay. This is what Jesus actually said will save you. These are his words. Throughout the 5 Gospels, Jesus clearly indicates what it is that will save you from suffering, awaken you into your spiritual body and life, and bring you into the eternal heavenly spiritual world after the death of your body of flesh. He clearly states repeatedly that it is his words that will save you, not his blood, as some Jewish Christians wrongly teach. By listening to his words, understanding them, and implementing them in your life, you will become an awakened spiritual child of our loving spiritual Creator in the heavenly spiritual world, just as he did. This is the enlightenment that he and Buddha experienced and taught to help us awaken also. Without Jesus explaining his spiritual teachings and spiritual way of love and non-violence that he demonstrated to us, how would we know what being spiritual means? If he died on the cross and never said anything, I wouldn't know that I have to forgive everybody. I wouldn't know I have to love my enemies. I wouldn't know I've got a spiritual body. My words will save you. I've just grouped them into blocks. There's so many of them. John 8:51. Jesus said, truly I say to you, if anyone keeps and practices my words, he shall never see death. Luke 6:46. Why do you call me teacher, teacher, but do not do the things I tell you? If anyone loves me, they will keep my words and live by them. And our loving spiritual Creator will love them and will go to them and make a spiritual home with them. John 5:24. He who listens to my words and understands their meaning and lives out of them and believes in our loving spiritual Creator who sent me to teach them to you cannot be judged, for they will do no wrong and will pass through the death experience into spiritual life. The hour has now arrived when those dead to the Spirit will hear the voice of the child of our loving spiritual Creator and come to true spiritual life. My words will save you too. John 6:63, Jesus said, it is the Spirit who gives true life. The flesh profits nothing. The words I have given you, they are spirit and they are life. John 8:31-32, if you live out of my words, you will truly be my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John 3:11-12, truly I say to you, we speak of what we know and testify of what we have seen, and you do not accept our testimony. If I told you of earthly things and you do not believe, how will you believe me if I tell you of heavenly things? Thomas, whoever understands the meaning of these sayings and teachings will not taste death. My words will save you, group 3. Thomas 19, Jesus said, blessed is the one who came to life before coming to life. If you listen to my sayings and understand them, these stones will serve you. John 4:13-14, Jesus said to the Samaritan woman, everyone who drinks of this earthly water shall thirst again. But whoever drinks from the living spiritual water that I shall give them shall never thirst again. And that water that I shall give them shall cause a flow of spiritual water to well up inside them, lifting them up into everlasting life. Thomas 108, whoever drinks from my mouth will become like me, and I shall be like that person, and what is hidden will be revealed to that one. Beautiful saying. John 7:37-38, if anyone is thirsty, let them come to me and drink. He who believes in me, from his innermost spiritual being will flow rivers of living spiritual water. You see how once you've got these together, they start to really compound. He's talking about a spiritual loving life force in your spiritual body that comes alive, and out of it flows this loving spiritual life force to other children in the material world. It's beautiful. My words will save you, for providing you listen to his words and understand what he means. He's saying you're a spiritual child of love. Wake up. Mark 10:45, Jesus said, for the child of our loving spiritual creator did not come to be served, but to serve others by teaching many how to be set free from sin and dedicate his life to bring this about, like a ransom paid to release someone from captivity. John 15:3, you are already clean and free of sin because of the words which I have spoken to you. John 15:7, if you live in spirit with me and my teachings and my words live in you, ask whatever you desire and it will be done for you. Sower of the seeds, Matthew 13:1-23, Jesus said, my words are like spiritual seeds, and I am the sower of those seeds. When anyone hears the words of spiritual life but does not understand them, the evil one can come and easily snatch them away from within their hearts and souls, preventing them from believing and being made whole in spirit. These are the ones where the seeds fell by the pathway. Those who receive the seeds on stony ground initially receive the words with great joy, but they have no deep belief within themselves, so endure only for a while. For when the challenges of suffering and persecution arise in their spiritual life because of the spiritual way, they are not strong enough in spirit and abandon the way. Those who receive the seeds among the thorns are those who listen to the words, but the cares of this world and delight in material riches smothers the words, and their spirit does not grow to maturity and are unfruitful. Those seeds sown on good soil are those who hear the words, believe them, hold fast to them, understand them, and patiently bring forth spiritual fruits, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. He who has ears to hear, listen correctly and understand my words. My words are the rock of your life, Matthew 7:24-27 and Luke 6. Jesus taught, everyone who comes to me and hears my words, understands them and puts them into practice, will be like a wise man who, while building his home, dug down deep and laid the foundation on a rock. And the rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat violently against that home, but could not shift it, and it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not understand and practice them will be like a foolish man who built his home upon sand. And the rains came, the winds blew, and the floods came and beat upon that home, and it fell down, and great was its fall. Author. The home that cannot fall is our awakened, eternal, spiritual body and soul mind of love, empowered only by the loving spiritual life force of our loving spiritual creator in the heavenly spiritual world, that comes alive through understanding the words of Jesus. Once you're spiritually awakened here, you won't die. Only your body of flesh will die. Doesn't mean it won't be painful. It just means your other body's ready to go. We have just read 17 independent sayings of Jesus that clearly state it is his words and teachings that save your spiritual life if you just listen to them, understand their meanings, live out of them, and are transformed by them. It is his words and teachings that awaken you to who you really are, a spiritual child of our loving spiritual creator in the heavenly spiritual world of love on earth, just like him. Without them, you would not know how to behave as a spiritual child of our loving spiritual creator, so could not become her spiritual child. His words and teachings describe all the characteristics, such as forgiveness, non-violence, compassion, generosity, equanimity, and love, that must be present in us to bring our spirit alive as our primary eternal spiritual identity that we need to become at one with to be able to enter the heavenly spiritual world. If Jesus just died on the cross and shed his blood but said nothing, we would have no way of knowing how to get to the heavenly spiritual world or who we really are as spiritual children of love. Our loving spiritual creator is only love. Spiritual words are the breath of life. We become spiritually alive when we breathe them in. Just a beautiful, 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 beautiful message. He had trouble. We saw there at one point, he said, you call me Lord, Lord, Lord. You're yelling out for me, oh, we love you, Lord, but you're not listening to what I'm telling you. You're not doing what I'm telling you to do, to become like me. You're just worshipping me, but not listening to my words so you can transform and become like me. Even then, at that early stage, they just wanted to worship him, but not do what he said. And he was aware of that problem right from the start. It's that, worship the person and don't do what they say. So idolize him. Instead, he's saying, no, become like me. Wake up. I'll tell you how to do this. I'll explain to you. Listen to my words about love and forgiveness and compassion. Have mercy. Love your enemy. Turn the other cheek. Listen to my words, because if you listen to my words, I'm describing who you really are, but you don't actually know it yet. You might know it. You might be partially a loving child, sure, but sometimes you hate a bit, or sometimes you might even get involved in a big fight and even get involved in killing some other children who are the enemy. Jesus tells you don't do that. You've moved out of your spiritual identity into a fake, false, lying shadow figure, full of nothing but satanic filth. So he tries to help you stay in your spiritual body, but also gives you the instructions to bring it alive. And it's simple. The loving spiritual life force from heaven and from the loving spiritual creator, both only being love, that life force is a different dimension. It's literally a different life force. It's not potatoes and beans in my stomach and body and flesh and blood and water from the oceans and gases. This is all chemical, this thing here that I'm waving around. This is a chemical construct of bones and calcium and minerals and chemicals. And yes, there's a brain and it has consciousness and it has its own sort of dualistic mind happening and emotional states. And if you alter the chemistry in the brain, you can even alter your personality and all sorts of, and moods and emotions can alter. So this is vulnerable, very vulnerable. But we have it, and if it's healthy, then if you awaken to your spiritual mind of love, the singularity of love, being at one with love, so your eye is single and your whole body's full of light, he's saying once your spiritual body comes alight, then your healthy physical body, hopefully healthy, It comes in behind your spiritual body and your spiritual mind. Your primary identity becomes spiritual on earth before you go to heaven. That's what he said. Blessed is the one who comes to life before coming to life. He's saying in Thomas, that's why they destroyed Thomas, because Thomas has got a lot of truth in it that shows that some of the Gospels have been perverted. People have messed them up deliberately to make them different about the apocalypse and all those lies. So we've got Thomas to thank for that. Thank heaven someone saved a couple of copies and buried them. So it's before you, blessed is the one who comes to life spiritually now on earth before you come to life in heaven. That's what Jesus is saying. So it's just beautiful. So it's his words that save you, his words that save you. Of course, having said that, then you've got to look at all his words, the parables, the stories. How many times should I forgive, says Peter? Like 7 times, Jesus? Should I forgive someone like 7 times? Seems like a lot to me. Jesus, can I punch him in the head after that? Poor Peter. Jesus goes, Peter, no. You become forgiveness. You're in a spiritual body once you wake up. You don't have to worry about your physical body anymore. You look after it, yes, and if people hurt it, and they will hurt it, don't worry, because the flesh profits nothing. It's the spirit that gives life. Don't worry about anyone who can kill your body. Worry about sin, because that can damage your spiritual life. And that's the life you're going to lead in. You're leaving in that. So make sure your spirit is well. A bullet can't kill your spiritual body. It's a different dimension. Your spiritual body is a different substance, a different dimension. A metal bullet can only kill a material thing, an organism, earth bullet, earth organism. The only thing that can damage our spirits are wrongdoings, sin, evil. But I can only commit evil if I move out of my spiritual identity into the fake, false, lying shadow figure that I've created out of the figment of my own perverted imagination. Vladimir Putin, the Russian army; Netanyahu, the Israeli army; Hamas, the Hamas army; Iran, the Iran army; Hitler, the Nazis. These are all lying, filthy, stinking, satanic, dark shadow figures now. They've all moved out of their spiritual body. The light in their spiritual body and loving life force is almost down to like a little drop, and they won't know they're in filthy, stinking darkness until they die. Too late. Then they're going to have to be cleansed, and that's where they'll be screaming through the cleansing process of reaping what they sowed. Of course, we pray they repent and stop all this satanic murdering, but they have to choose to go to heaven or choose to go to hell. So Jesus is saying, come into your spiritual body and stay safe. Protect it with your life. He's saying, protect your spiritual body with your life. Don't sin. Even if they try to make you sin, don't do it. If they're going to shoot your body and there's a gun there and you think, well, I'll pick it up and kill them, don't do it. Don't be tempted. Protect your spiritual body. Everyone has one. Yours will be well and healthy. You haven't hurt them. You've been a shining light of love and peace while they've been violent, satanic children. They're going to die too, don't worry. They're going to reap what they sow, don't worry. That's the universal law that both Jesus and Buddha taught. That's a spiritual law. Jesus and the loving Creator don't hurt anyone. They can't because they're love. Your loving mother and father, if they love you, they won't murder you if you did something wrong. War gods do that. Yahweh One, the war god of the Jews, does that. He'll kill you. But so will Mars and Sekhmet, the Egyptian war god, and Ares. All war gods will kill you. Putin kills someone who doesn't do what he says or tries to do anything against him. Hitler does it. They all do it. They're all little war gods. They're filthy, dark shadows. They're a lie unto themselves. Don't do that. So his words save you. His words prevent you going there. And it helps you see them too. They've moved out of their spiritual identity now. They've got power, but it's all physical satanic power. Flesh and blood and bones, and pull triggers on guns and drop bombs and murder other children. And now they've got the bloodlust. They love killing. They love the war god. That's what war gods love, killing, murdering, death. They are all worshipping death, the whole lot of them. As a spiritual child and follower of Jesus, or Buddha as well, they're both so close, both pacifists. We worship life, but beyond that we worship true life in heaven or nirvana, in the heavenly spiritual universe, where there is no suffering. It's a different universe. It's a different world. It's spiritual. And when we're there, hopefully, if we're spiritual children here, we can go there. And it'll be as real there as it is here. But it'll be the reality of the spiritual world will just seem normal. For us to see it now, if we could, with our eyeballs of flesh, it would probably seem really different. It's a bit like the way children often see angels that are sort of glowing, or Jesus' body was glowing at times. His spiritual body was glowing. At the Transfiguration, that was his spiritual body glowing. And when he appeared to them, they thought he was a ghost after they killed his body of flesh on the cross. He appeared in his pure spiritual body, which was glowing. They thought it was a ghost. So for them to appear to us, that's the only way they can do it. But in that world, in the heavenly spiritual world of this divine loving being, then I imagine everyone's playing with each other and having great fun, because no one can hurt you there. And none of those children can conceive of hurting another child. That's why they're allowed to go there. That's why they're allowed to come in. And until you reach that point in your life on earth, you won't enter heaven. Jesus said that. There's the commitment. I'm a pacifist Christian. I belong to the very first followers of Jesus who understood what he was saying. I'm blessed because I always knew him as love and non-violence. So it's easy for me to see the Jewish poisoning and to listen to these Jewish Christians. Why? No wonder the churches are emptying. Young people are too smart to be told all that rubbish. There you go. There's his word, Saviour. I'm Christopher John Joseph, and love your way to heaven or hate your way to hell. The choice is yours, but you haven't got much time. You've only got so many heartbeats to spend. You must bring your spiritual body alive and awaken with the spiritual mind of love, forgiveness, compassion, equanimity, non-violence, generosity, and reach out and help those who have fallen down. The homeless on the street that you might walk past every day and don't look at. Ask them if they want some food or drink or a blanket or something. That's bringing your spiritual body to life. Love your family. That's the way it's normally done. Love your wife, your husband, your kids, your parents, your grandkids, then your friends, then your neighbours, and in circles. We love in circles normally. So wherever you are, love. Practice love there with those children that you're, normally is your family first and then friends, etc. But love them. Care for them. Because otherwise you can't get into heaven. Have you got your ticket? Oh, wait a minute, I got it here somewhere. Oh, here it is. What words have got on? Love. Oh, excellent. Come in. Oh, here's another person. What have you got? I've got drones, bombs, guns, missiles, dead children's bodies. Oh, sorry, you've got the wrong ticket. You'll have to go back and suffer. Suffer like you've never suffered ever before. The mass murderers are really stinking up the planet. These satanic war armies, we got to get rid of them. The only way to get rid of them is to help children. Tell them, don't join the army, don't join the Air Force, don't join the Navy. No one join them anymore. Let them wither and rust and die. It's the universal soldier that's really to blame. The orders come from far away no more. You make the decision to kill, that's your decision. You make the choice to go to heaven and be a pacifist while you're here, that's your decision. Good on you. You're the bravest people in the world. The pacifists are the bravest children in the world. No one's braver than them. Okay. Love your way to heaven. Bye.